something that really bothers me is when you buy a bodysuit and the first time you have to unsnap it, how difficult it is to unsnap it. That's happened to me.
You're already wearing it?
Yeah, and you're already wearing it, and it's just like you're in the bathroom and you have to pee, and you're like trying to snap it. But you're also trying not to rip it. Because then it wouldn't be a bodysuit. It'd be a tank top with a tail.
A front and a back tail.
A front and a back tail. Oh, we're
Nobody
recording.
wants that. I figured. You make a different face when we're recording.
I make my recording face.
Yeah, you put your game face on.
Game face. Time to record.
I feel like my voice is deeper than usual today.
Oh, well.
I was yelling a lot last night.
Yeah. We had a friend's bachelorette party last night.
We did.
It was fun.
It was fun.
We wore dick crowns. Which, by the way, if anyone out there wants a dick crown, hey, maybe send us an email and I could send you one. They're really cute. So this is She'splain and we're back.
Did you miss us?
Did you miss us? This is season 2. I think we decided
to do that, didn't we?
Episode 1, season 2.
Whoa!
Wow!
We made it to the second season.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
Lots of stuff has happened. One of the things that has happened since our last full-length recording, is Hugh Hefner died.
Yes, he did.
The pioneer of the sexual revolution. JK, 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 JK. That was a joke.
Yeah. So tiresome. I saw a lot of posts on my Facebook feed, did you?
Oh, yeah.
That were, positive. And then it took about a day for all of the negative
for it to set in.
For everybody to start posting, articles that were, actually not that great of a guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, there they are.
Yeah. I don't know how he got away with all of the things that he got away with. Well, because he was an old guy. An old white guy.
Yeah.
But there, once all the articles came out, there were things that I didn't know. And I was just how is it possible?
The Marilyn Monroe thing. I actually did know the Marilyn Monroe thing before.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was going to be buried next to her.
I did know that. I didn't know that one of the women who were assaulted by Bill Cosby, I didn't know that she had included Hugh Hefner in her lawsuit. That I didn't know. Yeah,
I think I read that at some point.
And she was underage, and it's just how...
Yeah.
How did you get this far?
Yeah, no, you can make an argument that he had some positive impact in some areas. Fine. If you want to say that. But, sorry, that does not excuse all the shitty things he did.
I think it's interesting that people say that it's well, but he was also, this great pioneer and all of in civil rights. And I read a lot of articles about how he was a big supporter of the trans community, and that's great. Mm-hmm. But, he did some really shitty things, and he was not a good person. And I think it's interesting that we allow someone like Hugh Hefner, a white man, to have that. And, someone like Bill Cosby, we don't allow to have that. And, Bill Cosby shouldn't. I'm not saying that he should.
Yeah.
And, I understand that Hugh Hefner has not been accused of... Well, I don't know that. I actually don't know if anyone has ever accused him of rape.
I don't know either.
I don't know. Yes. Holly Madison said that she was drugged.
Oh.
When she lived with him.
Okay, yeah.
And she was coerced into, orgies. So, yeah, not a great person. And that's one woman, and he's had thousands of women, living with him. So...
Yeah.
I thought about that the other day.
He's another powerful man that, why would you put yourself through accusing him?
Yeah. Yeah, I understand why. But I thought about that the other day, where everybody was just so quick to defend, and not saying that there weren't people who weren't defending Bill Cosby, but I just feel with Hugh Hefner it was no, it's fine because he did this. And
Yeah, no, and even if you're gonna make that argument, I think wouldn't that argument be stronger for Bill Cosby and the positive things that the positive contribution he made to, like, Black visibility on television? And
exactly. That's how I mean, no, we shouldn't be defending anybody.
I'm not saying that at all.
We should not, but if
that's your argument,
exactly,
then I'm just saying you have to apply it across the board.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's a bad argument, is our point. It's a bad argument.
It's a bad argument.
It's not valid.
Yeah.
The Marilyn Monroe thing is disgusting, and it makes my skin crawl.
Right. I mean, for anybody that doesn't know what that's about, it's, he, like, a big deal, like, a really big part of his success and Playboy's success, the magazine, was her being their first centerfold. But what's ignored in the history of it a lot is the fact that that was from a shoot that she did before she was famous, and it was for, like, a calendar or something. She was paid, like, $50 for it.
Yeah.
At whenever that was. It was probably, like, 10 years before that or something. He bought the photos for $500 and printed them, and she was not involved in it whatsoever.
Yeah. She actually wanted those photos to go away. Like, it wasn't something that...
And she ended up having to make a public apology for it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that drives me crazy, because at the time, it was the 50s, right?
Yeah.
Like, at the time, you know, that was on her.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hugh.
Thanks,
and then,
Hugh.
Of course, he's going to be buried next to her, which is just a further assault on her.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah. I mean...
And he's not even the first one to do that, to buy the plot next to her. Did you hear about the other guy?
No.
The plot above her, I don't remember his name, but he told his wife that he bought the plot above her and to bury him face down, so that he was lying on top of her, and
it's disgusting.
Yeah, it is really disgusting. And she did it. And so he had been buried there for years, but then she took him out and she auctioned off the spot for I don't know how much, and I don't know who bought it. But that's just, like, another way that, like, women's bodies are not our own. Even when
in
we...
death.
Yeah, in death.
That's so gross.
It's disgusting.
Oh,
and
God.
that's kind of the culture that Hugh Hefner...
created
and was a part of and enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, you can't call someone an ally if they pick and choose what rights they're going to champion.
Exactly.
In women, or, like, yeah, sure, say he was all about civil rights, but, like, what about Black women?
Exactly.
What about them?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just decide. You just can't.
No. And speaking of stealing stuff, he did the same thing to Vanna White.
What did he do?
He stole... Well, he didn't steal. He bought nude photos of her that were, like, from years ago that she didn't want anyone to see. He went to her and he said, I bought these. I'm going to publish them. And she said, please don't. She said she begged him not to. And they were friends at the time. And he did it anyway.
Wow.
And she was heartbroken.
That's, like, it's basically... like the predecessor to revenge porn.
It is.
Like that, and that is, we have a big problem with that, obviously.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
No.
That's not okay.
No.
You just can't, that's fucked up.
It is.
You're not a good dude if you do that.
No. Exactly. Like, you can't be. I'm sorry.
Profiting off the exploitation of a woman like that, you're not doing favors for women.
Nope.
We're done with you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
We're done.
I think it was weird because I saw quite a few people, and working in the entertainment industry, you know, I have people on my feed that also work in the entertainment industry, and a few people were like, oh, I worked with Hugh, he was the nicest guy, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm sure some people thought, like, what's a good example? I don't want to just use Bill Cosby all the time.
Roman Polanski?
I'm sure tons of people, like, I'm still kind of mad at Hugh McGregor for working with Roman Polanski. I'm sure he was like, oh, he's a great director and a great dude. But you know what?
Yeah.
No.
I'm mad at Kate Winslet for working with Roman Polanski and for working with Woody Allen and, like...
Come on, Kate.
Yeah.
Do better.
I'm mad at her for that.
Yeah,
just because what a shitty standard we hold people to. That it's like, oh, they were really nice.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, or the thing that always comes back that's like, well, I know it's about the art. I don't care, like, who the person, like, what kind of person the person is. I just care about their art. I can separate the two. And it's just like,
Well, especially with Hugh Hefner, I don't.
Good for you, I guess. I don't agree with that.
I don't know. There were a lot of articles too. Not articles. There were a lot of discussions that I saw on the social medias. Speaking of, we're on social media at She's Playing Podcast.
Say it loud and proud.
I was whispering it into She's Playing Podcast. But there were a lot of discussions. Surprisingly, where women were like, but these women knew exactly what they were getting into.
Okay, talk about blaming the victim.
Exactly. That's not...
no,
that's not quite it. Just because you know that you're taking nude photos when you take nude photos doesn't mean that you weren't coerced. It doesn't mean that you weren't manipulated. It doesn't mean
that you weren't desperate
and
had no choice, and that was the most accessible way for you to pay your rent.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you weren't taken advantage of and that this person didn't take advantage of the situation.
Regardless of it, you have a right to not be exploited in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. Like, I don't even care if we're talking about, like, they should have known better. These people have a right.
Yeah.
To not share their body with the world.
Yeah.
I don't understand how we're even talking about that. Like, how is that not just... Doesn't everyone know that? Like, why do we have to say that?
I don't know.
It's absurd.
It is absurd.
Ugh. I was texting with Heather and Laura, and I mentioned it, and Heather was like, wow, I feel nothing at all. And I was like, yeah.
I texted my mom, and I was like, Hugh Hefner died, and without a beat, she said, oh, sorry, guys, that was my computer. That's not what she said. Without a beat, she said, thank God. It was, no, she said, thank God, about time.
So, other things that we're fucking done with. Do you guys want to be in on the ground level for
it's going to be huge.
Life-changing opportunity?
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I noticed that your hair
looks like shit.
You should try this lipstick.
I mean...
Guys, if I'm added to one more Jamberry Facebook group.
You get a lot of Jamberry? Because I don't get a lot of Jamberry. I get a lot of Lip Sense and Beachbody.
I don't get a lot of Lip Sense. I get a lot of Jamberry.
Scentsy. Last night, I did a search I went on my Facebook and I searched like all the top ones on Facebook, and then I filtered the search to posts from your friends just so I could, because sometimes they're tricky and you like don't really know.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about doing that.
It was actually less than I thought it was. I think because I've defriended some people.
Wow.
Since then, but it was interesting because I saw you can see when you do that you can see like the progression of somebody's involvement, and then at some point it just drops off. And you're like, oh, that must have been when they decided to quit. It wasn't worth it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you'll see that they picked up another one like a year later, and we will talk about that.
Yeah. What we are talking about is multi-level marketing, MLMs,
also known as direct sales,
network marketing, pyramid selling,
which is a little too close for comfort to pyramid scheme.
I mean, yeah.
But it's probably the most accurate. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about. And if you don't know what that is, you're about to get educated, because we're going to tell you. Multi-level marketing, as defined by the FTC, that's the Federal Trade Commission, they say in multi-level marketing or network marketing, individuals sell products to the public, often by word of mouth and direct sales. Typically, distributors earn commissions not only for their own sales, but also for sales made by the people they recruit, also known as the downline. So the basic structure, do you want to talk about the basic structure of an MLM?
Sure. The basic structure is the basic structure is like the corporate company.
Right.
And then from there you have like
the actual employees of the company.
Which
are usually fairly few and far between.
Yeah, and they're making a product. And then from the product you have a distributor. And then with multi-level marketing, the distributor usually, without multi-level marketing, the distributor usually goes to like Walmart or Target or wherever.
Where then I go and I buy it there. I'm the customer and I buy it not directly from the company like Unilever or whatever. I'm buying it from Walmart, who has bought it from Unilever to distribute it and then sell it to me at a slightly higher cost than what they've paid for.
Yeah. But with multi-level marketing, there is no Walmart. There is no Target. I don't know why I picked Walmart. I never shop at Walmart. Why did I pick that? That's so weird.
There is. It's just not a store.
Exactly.
It's an individual.
It's another distributor, which is the individual. And
so like a lot of the companies that we're talking about, they call them direct sellers or consultants or coaches. For some of the wellness companies, call them coaches. Basically, they're contractors.
Yes.
Because they are not employees of the company. They're not getting paid a wage. They only make, as the FTC definition says, they only make, they're making commissions, essentially. Which is interesting because a lot of people that are selling, a big part of the language that they use is business, like my own business. I'm working for myself and I'm a boss babe. But that's actually not true. Like you don't own a company. You're just a contractor selling someone else's products.
Yes.
If you owned a company, you could be buying products to sell. Like, say you own
like with franchises, like if you, I don't know why I'm using this one either. Like
McDonald's.
With McDonald's, like if you can own your own McDonald's franchise, and that's a thing that you can do, and it's yours.
But you're paying McDonald's for the licensing.
Yes. And
for the licensing of their products, and I don't know how they get the products or how that works, but that's also different.
Yeah.
Because the focus is on the product, which is where traditional capitalism, I guess, differs from multi-level marketing. Because really, when it comes down to it, the emphasis is more on your downline.
Yes.
Which are the people that you recruit to become sellers below you. So you're making, say you become a Jamberry.
No.
What do they call their people?
Oh, I don't know. I actually didn't
Jammers.
If they don't, that's a real missed opportunity.
So the Jamberry, if you're a Jamberry jammer,
I like that.
You're not only selling, but also say you have like a couple really good customers. You might be like, hey girl, You're such a great customer. I think you would be an even better seller.
Yeah.
And then you basically become their sponsor, and you're supposed to be there to train them and help them, like, start their business, etc. But you are going to get a percentage of what they sell.
Most companies, I think it's like 2%.
2%?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really low.
That's how you don't make money. I mean, it could be different for like different companies, but I just read something really quick that it is really low.
And then you also get a percentage of the people below them too. So like every time it goes down a level. So that's why you hear stories of like people really high up that started on the ground level, like the ground floor, and they end up making a lot of money, and that is possible. But that's only because they started at the beginning. They have so many people below them.
Yeah.
That's less than 1% of the people that get involved in these type of schemes, if I'm so bold to call it that.
I think you're allowed to call it that. It's definitely a thought-out process on the company's part.
To not call it a scheme?
To not call it a scheme, and to say this is not an...
Oh my God, no, MLM. It's not a pyramid scheme.
It's not an MLM.
It's shaped like a pyramid, but it's totally not. You're selling a product. Pyramid schemes are illegal.
And also I want everyone to know that they are allowed to say they aren't a pyramid scheme, because pyramid schemes are only if there's no product to be sold. If it's somebody coming to you and saying, hey, you should invest in this, and then get 10 investors. It's only money. Basically, money is the product.
Right.
So if you get 10 people to invest in this, you'll get so much, like, thousands of dollars back.
And that's really the only difference, right? That is the same model and structure.
The only difference.
They're actually probably a little bit more honest.
Yeah, exactly.
And upfront.
Yeah.
When you're really looking at it. Yeah. So, before we, like, really get into it, a little bit more from the FTC, because they have some guidance on their website, and you can go and check that out yourself. We'll put the link up in the show notes. They recommend, when you're considering doing direct sales with the MLM, that's what we call them for short, MLM.
MLM.
Because it's too much work to say the whole thing.
It is.
Find and study the company's track record. Do an internet search with the name of the company, where it's like review, scam, or complaint, and look through several pages of search results, because these companies have been known to create a lot of internet content with positive messaging and reviews, and basically just like produce search results to be at the top, so that it's harder to get the information about how something's actually kind of scammy. So make sure you don't just look at the first page, which is what we all tend to do when we're searching something.
Yeah, I know that I do that. I'm always like, well, this is the legit stuff on the first page.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever are questioning anything, you should always Google it and then put scam.
Yeah.
Or complaint. I don't think complaint is as good, because there's not necessarily formally complaints against a company. Although LuLaRoe does have an F with the Better Business Bureau because of unresolved complaints. Several of them.
Sorry guys, those are gonna go unresolved.
They also recommend to avoid any plan where the reward for recruiting new distributors, your downline, is more than it is selling the products to the public. That's like a really good indicator that it's pyramid-like.
All right. So, I guess you guys are probably wondering how all of this got started.
I'm so interested.
Well, it's actually been around for a long time. Well, yeah, no, it has. Multilevel marketing has been around for a while. And it started with the California Vitamin Company, which then turned into Nutrilite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Nutrilite. I knew that I had heard it before, but I never knew what it was. And that started in 1930 with Karl Reinborg. Prior to 1930, he was living in China, and he had discovered that, like, you know, a lot of people in China were taking supplements and different vitamins to, you know, help them with their health. And it was a big benefit for him. So when he moved back to the States, he created the California Vitamin Company. And then he changed it to Nutrilite in 1930. And then in 1945 is when he started kind of using the multi-level marketing strategy. And what happened was he had distributors that were, you know, just kind of telling people word of mouth, like, hey, this product's really great. And then those people would come to them and say, like, oh, well, now I want to be a distributor. So he realized that he was making more money that way. Mm-hmm. And that's when he decided to start giving bonuses based on how many people you were bringing in to become a distributor. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't it was still sales based and not downline based.
Right.
Downline based didn't really start until Mary Kay in the 90s, like, really pushed, hey, you can get a friend to sign up to do this. And we'll talk about that. Oh, that's where I got the 2% from. He paid them 2%. It wasn't, sorry guys. Most people make like 12%. I think that's what it was when I looked it up.
So he gave 2% bonuses.
Yeah, 2% bonuses. And that's how, like, that structure started. And then in 1959, 2 distributors from Nutrilite started their own company. They started, can you guess what it is?
Amway
in Michigan.
Amway's my favorite one.
Amway?
Because how is it still fucking around?
How is it still around? And they have hotels.
What?
There are hotels that Amway owns.
Oh my god.
And I had no idea. So that was Richard DeVos and J. Van Andel. That is a name. I haven't said it out loud. J. Van Andel. He sounds like a creep.
Mm-hmm.
So they broke off, and in 1959 was when they created their first product, and it was like a cleaning solution. It was an organic cleaning solution. And theirs was the same, like, we'll pay our distributors, but it was still selling based. So there were a lot more like door-to-door people like going around and selling Amway, and then would also say, hey, by the way, you can sell this too if you want to make money. And then in the 1960s, like, the business just like started to grow and grow and grow. And they had reached, I think, like, by 1967, they had expanded into international territories. And so they were in, like, London and Paris and all of these different places. And this is something that I found really interesting was in 1967, because they had grown so rapidly, like, Rich DeVos really thought of himself as, like, a schmoozy business guy. I know exactly how to, like, make money. So he released a record. And I wish I had it. Like, I wish I could listen to it. And it was a record.
Like a spoken word record?
Yeah, it was a record about how to sell Amway and how to be, like, your own business person. Mm-hmm. So he was really, like, the OG Facebook status of, like, hey, this is how you can, too, buy my lip sense.
Yeah.
And then in 1968, that was when they bought their first beauty line. And the reason why they bought beauty lines was because Avon had been around for much longer, but Avon had started using MLM to start selling, and so they were a competitor, and so they needed to start competing too.
Also, that's how you get women in.
Exactly, because women were a higher market than men, and Tupperware was also a thing that was starting to become popular. So there were all of these different things that women who, and this also plays into what we're going to talk about later on with religion, where most women would meet other women through church, And so that's another kind of birthing place of where that idea came from, where it was like you go to church and you meet these women and then you have them over after church and you talk about Tupperware, or you talk about Amway, or you talk about Avon, and women seem to really respond to that.
It was a built-in network.
Yeah. And with Tupperware, I do want to say that Tupperware was a little different because they at this point, multi-level marketing was starting to kind of get a little bit closer to like get people to sell this. But Tupperware was like build something for yourself. It wasn't necessarily like get your friend to sell Tupperware. It was like you sell Tupperware so that you have, you know, an income for yourself. That's really how they marketed it. And I feel like at the time that was really how they wanted the company to be, because it was right after the war, and like you're going into like other wars, and women were not confident and they weren't in a good place financially to take care of themselves.
Yeah, well, they had been more in the workforce, and then suddenly they weren't as the men come back.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, what do I do now? Well, it's something that you can do as a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're already socializing.
Yeah.
And you just fit it into your community that already exists.
Yeah. And Tupperware, they were tricky in their conception because that they knew that men would respond well to that, because it was, I mean, it was sending their ladies back to the kitchen.
Yeah. Keeping them at home.
Yeah. Keeping them
but also giving them like a small sense of like independence and like the pride of making their own money, contributing financially. Because contributing to like raising the kids and doing all the cooking and the cleaning, that's not enough.
No.
Obviously.
No.
But I mean, that's the truth though, because at the time what was going on with feminism was all about empowerment.
Yeah.
And like getting out of the house, but it was kind of like a little step like, oh, I have some independence, but I'm still fulfilling all of these gender roles that are put on me.
Yeah.
So it was like a little bit of a rebellion, but not really.
Not really.
But also I'll just say, like, I love Tupperware.
I love Tupperware
Vintage
too.
Tupperware, like the kind that they were selling at the time. The new stuff is crap.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it's...
I told my mom thought that they weren't around anymore.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, no, you can totally still buy Tupperware.
Like they don't make as many of the good quality products that last anymore, and they do a lot more of the like disposable style. Like they're not disposable, they're reusable, but they're like
But you don't care when you throw them away.
The thinner plastic, they're like takeout container style stuff that for some reason I don't know why people like that more. My mom loves those. Why?
Straya loves those. Every Christmas before we go to my cousin's for dinner, she stops by the store and we grab a couple of those so she can take leftovers home.
I mean, I guess the benefit is because you can like pack up a bunch of cookies and bring them over to someone's house and they're just like, oh, just keep that.
Yeah.
But like, it's definitely a result of the throwaway culture. And, moving away from things that last to things that can be easily replaced and thrown away. It's very sad.
It's America and the world. It's the world right now. Also, something that was in Amway's favor was since they weren't only selling makeup or Tupperware or quotation female-based products, they had a market built in for men who were coming back from wars where, you couldn't really, if you were injured, there wasn't a whole lot for you that you could do, but you could sell Amway and make money. So in 1972, Amway bought Nutrilite, the company that they had originally worked for. They bought them out totally. So now, today, Nutrilite is a part of Amway. And this brought them to, like, having 4 different demos because they had beauty and they had health and they had home goods, and there was something else that they had at the time, but I don't remember what it was. But they were just very successful. And then in 1975, we talked a little bit about this earlier, the U.S. Consumer Protection Agency took them to court. And at the time, they were taking a lot of different multi-level marketing companies to court because it's a pyramid scheme. Like, it is. I mean, technically, no, it's not, but...
Only because of the way that it's been defined.
Exactly.
Like, to specifically omit an exchange, like if there's goods.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically just semantics.
It is.
Because here's the thing. The goods are not the real product that's being sold.
No.
And it's a trick. Like, it's just, I mean, when we get into...
It's a smokescreen.
Yeah, exactly. And when we get into the psychology of it, we'll talk more about that and about, like, what's really being sold. But, I mean, what's being sold is not a physical product. For sure.
Yeah. It's not. No, it's not. I mean, yeah, you get shitty leggings, but it's not. But because of that, so the U.S. Consumer Protection Agency took them to court. There was a 4-year-long debate, I guess, on whether these companies were legitimate or not. In 1979 is when Amway won their lawsuit, which kind of made all multi-level marketing companies legitimate. And we were talking about it earlier, like, it's really difficult. I obviously think that they should be illegal, but I don't know I wouldn't know how to make them illegal. And it's not for lack of trying on anyone's part, because there's lawsuits upon lawsuits with these companies.
And at this point, and we'll talk more about the lawsuits, but at this point, a lot of them, because like you're saying, it's so hard to sue for being a pyramid scheme because of the way that the law is written. A lot of the lawsuits are on the grounds of other things because they can't go after that.
Yeah.
So it just makes things a little bit more complicated, and it's harder. It's really harder, and they have to screw up in some other area in order for you to get them.
Yeah.
And they don't always screw up.
No, they don't. So that was the 80s. We're now into the 80s, and I don't know if you guys remember how big Mary Kay had started to grow at this time, and a few other companies, but that's when multi-level marketing, like, really was like, oh, we can now be, like, open about exactly what we're doing because we are legitimate businesses now. We don't have to kind of, like, I mean, they are sketchy. They're very sketchy with their wording.
And
but
Amway is still really sketchy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, a lot of the newer ones, especially the female-targeted ones, like beauty products and that sort of thing, they're not as sketchy in how they go about the selling and the recruiting specifically. But I read a lot of shit preparing for this, and Amway kept coming up because of how sketchy they are.
Yeah.
Like, they put you, like, there's a whole process before you even know what you're selling.
So that brings us to the 80s, where all of the other multi-level marketing companies kind of started popping up, and they gained popularity. And so, you know, you started seeing a lot more of, like, the pink Cadillacs driving around. Well, you didn't see them driving around because that wasn't an actual thing that people could achieve. But you saw more and more articles about it being published and about these different companies, and they were really thriving around that time. Amway, not so much because it was an older company, but the newer companies had kind of started to thrive and really come into their own. And like just like with everything, it has ups and downs. And so, you know, for a while, like Mary Kay was very popular. Oh, Pampered Chef was popular. There were so many that were doing really well, and then it kind of just died out. And that was because everyone got sick of it, and they knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But then a new generation came along, and so did social media. And, like, that's where we're at right now, where, like, social media is just pushed in a totally different direction, and it's blown up again.
It's actually kind of crazy that it took it so long, because I didn't start to see things popping out until about 2012.
Yeah.
And social media...
Well, 2012 was when LuLaRoe started.
Right, and that's the one that made the... They basically were like, oh my god, social media. Yeah. They were the ones that started.
Yeah. The founder talks about how her daughter... Like, basically, the whole reason why she started the company was because her daughter posted a photo and it got so many likes, and she realized that she could make money off of those people. From a skirt.
Yeah. And those buttery, soft leggings.
Ah, gross.
If I read that one more time, I'm going to stab my eyes.
Also, that sounds uncomfortable.
I don't understand. Like, even when I read things that are like, I did LuLaRoe and this is why I left. Like, people they still will be like, I touched those buttery soft leggings and I needed them. And I'm just like, I've never felt like a pair, like any piece of clothing and be like, oh my God, I need 12 of these. Like, have you?
At 12, no. I've definitely like felt a t-shirt and been like, oh, I need to buy 4 of these for my future. Or like, I need to buy 4 of these in every color because I'm going to wear it out. Oh, Charlotte Russe jeans. Yeah. I buy those in an excessive amount because I wear them, like I wear those jeans out.
But it's because they fit you.
Yeah, it's not like I felt something and I'm like, oh, I need this. Also, okay.
Listen, we're going to have a lot of moments where we get off topic because we get a little heated. Yeah. It's okay.
Their leggings are hideous.
Yeah.
Hideous. And also, ladies, if you live in Los Angeles, you can go to Santee Alley and get much cuter leggings that are, I'm sure, buttery soft for like $5.
And are they made in the USA? No, probably not. But guess what? Neither is LuLaRoe anymore.
No.
They used to be, but they're not anymore.
They're not.
So, like, there goes that argument.
I think they're ugly. They also blatantly steal designs from artists.
And they make them worse. Like, they steal a design and they're like, how can we make this uglier? And I don't think that's not on purpose. I think they make things ugly on purpose.
Why?
Oh, because it's part of the scheme. Because when you signed up as a consultant, you used to be able to pick, like, have some control over what inventory you'd be sent. But at some point they changed that, and now you just get your kit. Yeah. And it's like 300 pieces or something like that. They have like
seasons, so it's like you buy like season 1 or season 2.
And they just send you a bunch of stuff. And part of the scheme and part of what puts people in such a bad position and sets them up to fail is that a lot of the products are unsellable because they're so fucking ugly.
They are ugly. If I see one more if one more person sends me Halloween LuLaRoe designs and tells me how cute they are, listen, I understand that sometimes you don't realize what you're doing. You don't understand what you're sending me. You don't even know that it's multi-level marketing. I get it. But if one more person sends me those ugly fucking leggings thinking that that's my style and that I want them, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. Like, what do you think of me? Is this what you think?
I think people see Halloween and they're just like, oh my God, Tiara loves Halloween and she needs this.
I don't need it. I don't need that. I don't need lip sense. What's the one with all of the terrible Halloween makeup tutorials?
Unique.
I don't need Unique.
I recently tried lip sense because I won't be too specific, but I was at a thing with some people. And I was talking about getting ready for the Emmys and what I was gonna, like, I was showing everybody my dress and my shoes, and they were like, how are you gonna do your makeup, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I have to go buy a new lipstick because I really like this shade that I have in this palette, but it doesn't last. It doesn't stay on very well, so I want to get something that's like that. That's like a matte liquid lipstick that will last pretty well. And someone that was there was like, oh my god, you should have lip sense. And I didn't really know what it was at the time. And like halfway through, I was like, oh, this is that thing. But it was already too late. And also I was like, I wasn't going to make it a thing in this group.
Yeah.
So I didn't. But I was like kind of curious anyway, because I just wanted to see. Because, you
burns.
see, it tingles. So you put it on and it tingles and you're like, I feel like this has shit in it that I shouldn't put on my face. Like, it's, and it feels weird, and you can't touch your lip. It's like really tacky for like a couple minutes.
Oh yeah, I've seen like women use like a blow dryer to dry it.
Yeah. It was uncomfortable and drying, and it felt, when something's like, you put something on your skin or whatever, I'm trying to think of what you would put on your skin. But you put something, and it feels like your skin is like tightening, and it's like not a good feeling. It was like that on your lips.
Oh, ew. I've never tried it.
Yeah, needless to say, I did not purchase any.
Oh, this isn't your whole pitch to get me to join?
So this person wasn't a distributor.
Oh, okay.
They had a friend that was. But she had like a whole bunch of them, and I was like,
she probably bought them out of guilt.
Whoa, girl. She seemed to really like it, which I was like,
I don't know about that.
All right, whatever. Maybe she is a distributor, and I just don't know it.
Maybe. She's probably playing it cool.
So I guess, like, for some reason, lip sense, you're not allowed to call your Facebook groups or anything, any of your marketing materials you're not allowed to say lip sense or use the brand name.
Oh, and that's when they'll send you a message and they're like, hey girl, let me tell you about my product. Let me tell you about this product, but I can't tell you what it is.
In my head, like, I can come up with what they would probably say the reason is for that, which would be like, oh, like, this is about your business and you need to develop your brand, so it needs to be about you or whatever. But what is the reason, do you think, that they really do that? That's a rule? Because
people know what lip sense is, and they want you in it before you realize what you're doing. But, like, I know that my random Facebook friend from Facebook isn't making her own lipstick. No. Well.
So, like, I'm not fooled by that.
You're not.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, let's get back to... That was one of our tangents.
Sorry.
No, I'm not sorry.
I mean, I could go on more.
Go on another tangent?
Yeah, another tangent.
Okay.
Do we know what the multi-level marketing pyramid scheme is with the children's books?
What?
There's one that's like children's books. Or maybe it's just books, and like children's books is an option when you do it. No, you're right. I'm right. I think it's just like books. It's like, and they're like, and when they email you, because my cousin did this to me, and she was like, hey, are you interested in being in a, how did she say it? I'm gonna look this up right now.
A book club?
Yeah, it was like, are you interested in being in a book club?
You know what? Here's the thing about doing a MLM and selling books. Not great search results. It's not a good product. Because if I Google books, direct sales, or books MLM, all that comes up is books about selling in an MLM and that sort of stuff.
And there are so many of those.
It's a bad idea. It's not, like, that one's not going to last.
No. I mean, I don't think it did. I actually never responded to her. Oh, okay. It was called okay, so she sent me a message and was like, are you interested in attending an online book party? And I was like, that's weird. She doesn't talk like that.
I'm rolling my eyes.
And so I didn't respond. One, because I just, like, didn't have time. And, like, two, it was weird to me. But also, like, I didn't think that it was MLM when she sent it. I was like, that's just kind of weird. And then, like, a couple days later, she sent me another message, and it was clearly copy and pasted because she left the quotes in, and it said, yeah, which, like, really pissed me off, because if you're only going to talk to me when you want to sell me these shitty books, like, at least make me feel like you care a little bit. Ooh, which we should talk about that. We will.
We keep getting ahead of ourselves.
I know. But she said, "Hey, just wanted to see if you had decided whether or not you'd like me to invite you. Oh, to the Usborne Books and More."
Oh, what? That's what I said. That's the one that came up when I did. I had to go to the second page on Google to get to it.
Yeah. No worries either way. I really think you would love the books, and you would be so much fun to have there. Let me know so I can get you added. First of all, like, whoever wrote this spelled everything wrong, and it wasn't her because she left the quotes in. So you need to talk to your upline.
Well, that's really interesting, and I don't think we're gonna go into too much of, like, the inside selling tactics and marketing tactics that they. Because a lot of the newer ones that are social media based, they have all these, like, team groups, like Facebook groups and group chats and everything, and they share. Did you see on the Facebook group, because we're in an MLM, like a anti-MLM.
Anti-MLM. We're not in an MLM.
We're in an anti-MLM Facebook group, and I like it because I'm so fascinated by the inside information that people post, because a lot of people that are in the group have been involved with an MLM and have since been like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's how they ended up in the group. But some of them are still in, like, these Facebook groups and group chats and stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll post, like, somebody posted in the group, it's like marketing material. It's like marketing guides.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
You did?
And
okay.
it was the long list of, like, all the different...
it's basically, like, written up messages that you're supposed to copy and paste.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. Like, I love the inner workings. That's why I'm in this group, because I love reading this stuff. And it's like, first way. And the way that this whole document is organized it's all over the place.
If we ran a multi-level marketing company, could you imagine how successful that would be?
Yeah, but, like, we have morals.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that.
Yeah, we're not going to do that, but I'm just saying, if anybody could do it, we could do it.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just going to read one or two, because I just think they're so great. I took screenshots on my phone, and I had to split it into 3 separate screenshots, because this material, there's so many options that you can copy and paste these messages. So here's an example. Hey, Susie, I hope your fall is going great. And there's so many exclamation points.
That one's exclamation points and emojis.
Oh, emojis.
Oh my
is a
God.
Whole thing. My kids just started back to school, and we're finally getting into the swing of things. Because you have to, like, be personal, right?
Yeah.
Now that I have some more time, I have a few openings for my online makeup classes, and thought I'd shoot you a message to see if you're interested in hosting. We have double hostess rewards running through the end of this month, which means it's even easier for you to earn free makeup. A $100 order gets you half price reward or $20 in Y-Cash. Can I reserve a spot for you? And then, like, there's another one that's slightly different. And then here's, hey, Megan, I'm in a contest to see how many makeup classes I can book this through the... See, this it's like nobody even proofread this.
They don't.
I'm in a contest to see how many makeup classes I can book this through the rest of September. And I was wondering if you'd help me out. You would also be able to earn double hostess rewards this month. And literally, this is like the first promotion, which is like the double hostess rewards is what they're trying to get across. And they have 5 different copy and paste messages for that promotion, I guess. And then they have another tactic to use this month. Look at what friends are having birthdays this month. To do that from a computer, click Events tab, and then to the right you will see Birthdays this week. Click to see all the tab, to the See All tab beside it to see Birthdays this month. From a phone, click Events, then scroll down to the bottom. Click Upcoming Birthdays, and then you can scroll down September, October. Message as many as you can. And then here's the message you're supposed to send. Hey, girl. Hope you've had a great week. I'm setting up my birthday beauty bashes for the next 6 weeks, and I saw that you have a birthday this month. What do you say to a super fun online birthday beauty bash? We play games and chat about makeup and skincare and the products you want to know more about. I will post tutorials and help your girlfriends pick out looks that they will love. The best part is you earn shopping rewards when they order. Win-win. I've got a couple open dates, and they always like have this message of like exclusivity or like demand, like oh, like I only have a couple of dates left. Yeah. Would love to put your name down. Does fill in dates in all caps work for you? You have to make sure you fill in the dates, because then someone
then you
knows.
just copy and paste and they understand. The jig is up. The jig is up.
Yep. And literally, there's so many of these, and they're all just slightly different. And almost every single one of them starts with "Hey, girl."
Hey, girl.
And you know why that is, right? It's so that when they copy and paste it, they don't have to worry about putting the name in.
Yeah. Hey, girl.
Because, you know, when you copy and paste things a lot, you're just like, oh, fuck, I forgot to change the name on that.
I always do. Like, if I'm doing that with an email to clients or whatever, I always just do, like, first line, hey, whatever the name is, and then I only copy and paste the body of the email.
Yeah, me too.
I would never copy and paste.
I don't know why that's, like, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You just shouldn't. And I copy and paste a lot of stuff at work.
Yeah.
Because that's just being efficient. Yeah. But you just have to be really careful.
Yeah, you do.
But if you're messaging, like, hundreds of people a day, this shit, like, you're gonna fuck a few up.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. So I loved that. I love reading that stuff because I like to see how they, like their training and their support.
Their training.
Like how the upline, what the upline gives the downline as like for their selling tactics and stuff. I think that's super interesting.
I know a woman right now who's doing, what's the eyelash one? Rodan and Fields. I think, Rodan and Fields.
I think Unique has mascara too, but...
Well, this is like the eyelash
like
that you put it like above your eyelash line, and then your eyelashes are supposed to grow.
Oh.
And it is Rodan and Fields, because they are like, we're not multi-level marketing. We're not multi-level marketing, and our stuff is 100% safe, and it's like it's not great stuff. But I know a woman right now who's in it, and it's one of the things that I find really interesting is that they encourage women to take like photos with them and their like paychecks, their whatever paychecks. They don't disclose the amount, obviously, but then it's like, oh, I had enough money to cover whatever this year with my check, blah, blah, blah. And in this, like, I'm talking about a Facebook post that I saw earlier. She mentioned, I hope she doesn't listen. She mentioned that their car, how did she say it? She said that they were it was clearly taken, though, from somebody else. Like, this is not how this person speaks. I would never read that and think that it was that person communicating. But she was like, we're on our way to becoming a Lexus team. They're not Multilevel Marketing, Rodan and Fields, but they have a team. They have teams. But she was just talking about how great it's going and how they've like fulfilled all of their stuff for September. It's all thanks to you guys. And they're on their way to becoming a Lexus team. And it was just the way that she said it. It was like she didn't say it and then she just copy and pasted it and put it with like a picture of her holding, I think it was a check. I'm not even quite sure what it was. And it was just like fascinating to me because this woman is educated.
Yeah.
But what it is
but
that
that's the thing, is that that is not actually a indicator.
No,
how
it's
educated
not.
someone is. It's not, and victims, and I'm going to call them victims.
Yeah.
Of these schemes, they don't really fit one profile necessarily, and we'll talk about that, but I mean, it's not about if you're a victim, it's not because you're uneducated, it's not because you're anything, it's because these tactics work.
Yeah.
That's why they're around.
Yeah.
That's why they're so prevalent right now. That's like, we're not saying it's anybody's fault.
Yeah.
Or that, you should know better. We would like you to know better because honestly,
the only reason why I know better is I don't know if it's... Okay, one, I would be too lazy to do any of this because I can't... And maybe it's just because, like, none of the products appeal to me, but I can't imagine, like, even wanting to do all of this work for any of these companies. But the main reason why I know that I've never fallen for this is because, like, from the time I was very small, I remember my mother complaining about all of these companies. And just, like, if her friend would have a Mary Kay party, she wouldn't go. I asked her to take me one time because I didn't understand what it was. It was like, oh, I just want to go. And it was, like, one of her really good friends selling it. And so I was like, let's go. It's makeup. And then we went, and I was like, this is weird. I don't want to do this. Because, I was a child, and they were trying to sell stuff to me. And it was weird. But, I mean, other than that, I don't know, like, if I would even be aware that it was something.
Yeah, I had someone try to recruit me before, and this was really before the social media boom. I think it was Amway. I'm not sure. I never found out for sure. Obviously, I didn't go for it, but I've only just become really obsessed with all of this because of the boom, the social media boom. And it's just everywhere, and I see it so much that I started researching it a lot, but I think I've definitely been tricked.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been tricked several times.
And then I'll look into it more and I'll be like, oh.
Yeah.
But
I know what this is.
They're using those tactics because they work.
Yeah. They do.
That's the whole system. Should we get back to the history of things?
I think I was done with the history, but I wanted...
well, what happened between, like, after the 90s? It got quiet for a bit.
It got quiet, and then it kind of bounced back up with social media. And as we said before, LuLaRoe is really the one that kind of has, like, pushed in that direction. And they started in 2012, which is why now in 2017, we're, like, getting added to 75,000 Jamberry events. And, okay, I do not judge anybody who does this. I try really hard not to because you and I have had discussions about it. Like, we've discussed the psychology behind it and how, like, I've been tricked before into it. So I do not judge people. I do judge you, though, if I ask you not to do something and you continue to do it.
Yeah. If I've removed myself from your group once already, I don't want to be in it.
And that's just like a little FYI for anybody out there who's doing these companies.
Respect boundaries.
Yeah. I'm still a human. You're still a human. We still have boundaries, and we have to like respect those. Yeah. I will not like go off on you, so you don't need to add me a third time to this Facebook group. That's it. That's all I want to say about that. Do you want to talk about LuLaRoe for a little bit, and then
well, no, since we're getting into like where like the boom and everything, I do just want to really quickly touch on the fact that just in the last 7 years, there's been like several major lawsuits. 2010 Amway, 2010 Free Life International, 2014 Burn Lounge. They were completely shut down, I believe.
What were they?
They sold media, like music and stuff.
Oh.
I don't know. It was a weird one. I didn't fully understand it. 2016 Herbalife and Venma. I've never even heard of Venma. But yeah. Currently, LuLaRoe is being sued, not for being a pyramid scheme, because like we said earlier, you can't really do that because there is an exchange of goods. But what they are doing is going after them for some sketchy practices and like false quality claims. And in the lawsuit, this isn't what the suit is necessarily targeting at, but in the lawsuit they mentioned that LuLaRoe consultants are urged from people above them to keep about $20,000 in inventory on hand at all times, which is so much.
Wait, what?
That's so to buy into LuLaRoe. And I looked into LuLaRoe a while ago because I had a friend that added me to a group.
Yeah, I did
last year. It was sometime last year. And this is the same person that I think it was an Amway thing before. And so I was skeptical. I was like, this sounds sketchy.
Yeah.
So I Googled it, and I Googled LuLaRoe scam or LuLaRoe pyramid scheme. And I found out that to buy in, it's like between $5,000 and $6,000 to get your initial inventory kit or whatever they call it. But they ultimately want you to build up to have $20,000 in inventory.
Yeah.
In stock in your garage or spare bedroom or whatever.
At all times.
Which, I mean, I hope y'all are writing those rooms off. If you have a whole room for your inventory.
Yeah.
You gotta write that square footage off.
Unless you're storing it in your kid's room, and then you can't do that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If someone's sleeping in it, you don't really have any luck there.
Yeah. But if it's just if you have a LuLaRoe closet,
yeah, you can write off that square footage.
Yeah, you can write that
and you can write off the desk that you post your social media and add people to groups over and over again that have decided that they don't want to be a group. Anyway. And also part of the details in this lawsuit, LuLaRoe consultants average $85 a year in commissions.
We can talk about that. So LuLaRoe, like I said, it was started in 2012. And do you know how the woman started it?
I know some of the lore, which is that it's a Mormon woman who's a grandmother.
Yeah, that's why that has that stupid name that it's really hard to pronounce.
Because LuLaRoe are her 3 grandchildren.
Yeah.
Or her 3 children?
Her 3 grandchildren.
And I guess she was making handmade clothes for them, and it just, like, other people were like, oh, I love those clothes. And then she decided decided to make it into a company.
And she realized that social media was going to be a big thing. Well, her name is Deanne. It's Deanne Steinham. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. Her and her husband created the company. And what I think is really interesting about this is that her and her husband are part of the Church of Latter-day Saints. So they are Mormon. It's really interesting. And I wanted to talk about this specifically because I feel like the Mormon church and their structure is very similar to her company structure and how they do things, because you have Mormons tend to go on missions and try to recruit people, and that's exactly what her company does. And a lot more companies who are more faith-based are starting to kind of like take over multi-level marketing. Even ones that aren't faith-based, since they have that structure, they have a lot more people that are coming from religions that are very similar and sort of taking it over again and kind of changing the companies a little bit to like who they're marketing towards and who they're trying to recruit. And LuLaRoe's like I said before, enemy number one with that. And I think it's so fascinating to me how the structures are very similar and that they're working because they're similar, because it's something like you've grown up with your entire life. So naturally you're going to like feel compelled to do this because all of these people are telling you it's a business, but also it's the exact type of structure that you've been living with your entire life. And so it doesn't look odd to you at all. Fun facts about them. 50% of the people leave within a year, which of course, 90% within 5 years, and only 39% earn a profit, but that's over the lifetime. That's been over the lifetime of their business. So that's over the lifetime of the LuLaRoe business. Only 39% of the people have earned a profit.
And that can be $1.
It's just a profit. It's just a profit.
And that's actually higher than the average of all MLMs, because that's like 99% don't make any money.
Yeah. Well, in 2015, 20% of the consultants received bonuses, and that was it. Like we said, the bonus can be any amount. That can be $600, which in the grand scheme of things, when you've invested $6,000 and you're not like, you haven't gotten that back yet, or when you've invested $20,000 and you haven't gotten that back yet, $600 is not helpful.
Well, no, it's not actually even profit.
No, it's not. So that's LuLaRoe. There are a lot of companies out there like this. We can post a list.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll post a list. We'll get that up for you guys.
We'll
get that up for you guys. We'll get that up for you guys, and we'll put it on our social media.
Yeah, I mean, listen, don't. But if you're gonna do one of these things, don't. But if you're going to, don't sign up for one that has an F rating on the BBB.
Don't sign up for one that has an F rating, and don't sign up for one where you have to invest thousands of dollars.
Yeah, because that's...
You know who would never ask you? You know who would never ask you to do MLM?
Dolly Parton.
Dolly.
But I gotta be honest, if Dolly had an MLM, I would probably be roped in.
I would do it. I would become their #1 sales consultant, distributor.
It was like Dolly Christmas ornaments.
Anything. I would do it. I would do it
too. Love you, Dolly.
Love you.
Oh my God, speaking of Dolly Parton, I was breathing the same air as Dolly when I was at the Emmys.
Oh my.
I was in the room with her.
That is exciting.
Her and Jane and Lily all together. What a dream.
That is the dream. That's the ultimate dream.
Yeah. So that's my update.
That's exciting. So I think we're gonna end this episode.
Yeah. Cool.
This episode's ending. You should follow us on social media. Rate, review, subscribe,
and share.
I remembered that.
RRSS.
RRSS. And let us know if you have ever done this. Or, yeah, if you have feelings. You have feelings too.
I like to hear about people's feelings. It's nice. And come back next week for part 2 of this topic, because we're going to get into the psychology and the tactics and all the nitty-gritty of that good stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited. It's all the stuff we've been kind of sidetracking onto because it feels so natural. So come back and get natural with us.
Yeah, I like that. Come back and get natural with us.
And listen, you don't even have to buy any essential oils. Oh my god, can we do another PSA real quick? Which is just don't put essential oils on your pet.
Don't put essential oils on your pet.
Please.
Don't put essential oils on your own body. Also, all oils, if they are not diluted, are bad oils. You can't put them on your body. Mm-hmm. If you have pure oil, it cannot go on your skin.
Don't do it.
It burns. Someone told me one time, because I make a lot of my own perfume, and I use oil, I'll use almond oil or something with some type of resin or whatever. And somebody saw it, and they were asking me about it, and I was explaining it, and they were like, "Oh, you have to be really careful with oils because people have been getting burned when they go out into the sun." And I was like, "No, people are getting burned because they're putting pure not totally pure oil on their skin. Has nothing to do with the sun. You just can't put oil on your body.
Yeah,
don't do it.
And also another in that vein, if you have a cat, don't bring lavender oil into your house at all, because it's really toxic for them, and they might not get sick right away, but it
accumulate.
Even if you just have it diffusing into the air, because they breathe it in, and it breaks down their liver. It's really bad, and it's something that won't show up until years later, and then you'll be like, I slowly killed my cat. It's horrible. Just if you don't believe me, just Google it. Just please be careful. Don't bring things into your home unless you know it's safe for your pets.
Yeah.
Or your kids. I mean.
And none of the oil MLMs are. They're not. The way those ones are really bad. Because those ones are feed your kids some oil, and it's no, don't do that.
Yeah, anyone that's making health claims that doesn't have any kind of certification or degree, run away from them.
Yes.
Don't even say goodbye.
No.
Just run. In the other direction quickly.
It's snake oil, and that's bad.
Yeah, so don't do it. Okay, that was the PSA. And now the official goodbye. Rate, review, subscribe, share. We love you. Take care of each other.
She's Wayne.